A samurai is not defined by his victory or defeat, but by the honor with which he carries himself in battle. In the late 19th century, Japan stood at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. For centuries, the country had been shaped by its feudal samurai class, warriors bound by the Bushido code of honor, loyalty, and sacrifice. Yet, as the winds of change swept through the land during the Meiji Restoration, the samurai found themselves displaced by the march of progress. The Satsuma Rebellion of 1877 would come to symbolize this seismic clash between the old and the new, led by the indomitable Saigo Takamori, a man whose legacy would be etched into the annals of history as the last true samurai. The Meiji Restoration, beginning in 1868, was a revolutionary period in Japan's history. The feudal Tokugawa shogunate had fallen, and power was restored to Emperor Meiji. The young emperor and his advisors embarked on a bold mission to modernize Japan, seeking to transform it from an isolated, agrarian society into an industrialized global power. Central to this transformation was the dissolution of the samurai class. The government abolished their stipends, replaced their swords with conscripted soldiers armed with rifles, and dismantled the rigid feudal hierarchy that had governed Japan for centuries. While these changes promised progress, they also left many samurai disillusioned and resentful. Stripped of their privileges and societal role, they watched their ancient way of life slip away in favor of Western-style modernization. This new political air was heavy with tension. Former samurai, particularly those from southern domains like Satsuma, felt betrayed and forgotten. Though modernization was touted as Japan's path to survival in a changing world, it was achieved at the expense of a culture that had defined the nation for centuries. For many samurai, their honor and identity were being erased. At the heart of this upheaval stood Saigo Takamori, a revered samurai from the Satsuma domain. Born in 1828 into a low-ranking samurai family, Saigo rose to prominence through his courage, loyalty, and unshakable commitment to the samurai ethos. He played a pivotal role in the Meiji Restoration, initially supporting the imperial cause and the modernization of Japan. However, as the government's reforms grew increasingly aggressive in dismantling the samurai class, Saigo became disillusioned. He believed that the emperor's advisors were steering Japan away from its moral foundation and leaving the samurai, the country's spiritual backbone, to wither. Saigo's concerns turned to action when his homeland of Satsuma became a hotbed of resistance. By 1877, Satsuma had become a refugee for disaffected samurai. Saigo, though reluctant at first, eventually took up their cause. He founded a private military academy in Kagoshima, where former samurai trained under his guidance. Tensions with the central government escalated when they suspected Saigo's activities as a threat. The government's decision to send troops to confiscate weapons from the academy was the final provocation. The Satsuma Rebellion officially began in February 1877, with Saigo and his forces, numbering around 20,000, marching north toward Kumamoto. Their goal was to inspire a nationwide uprising among samurai and restore the honor of their class. The first major confrontation occurred at Kumamoto Castle, a strategic stronghold in southern Kyushu. Saigo's forces laid siege to the castle, but the defenders, bolstered by modern weaponry and imperial reinforcements, held firm. Despite Saigo's tactical brilliance and the bravery of his samurai, the siege dragged on, sapping their strength and morale. As the rebellion continued, the disparity between the samurai's traditional tactics and the imperial army's modern firepower became painfully clear. As the rebellion continued, the disparity between the samurai's traditional tactics and the imperial army's modern firepower became painfully clear. The imperial forces, equipped with rifles, artillery, and advanced logistics, outmatched the rebels at every turn. Saigo's army, relying on swords, spears, and outdated firearms, fought valiantly but faced insurmountable odds. The decisive battle came in September 1877 at Shiroyama, a mountain near Kagoshima. Saigo and his remaining 500 samurai made their last stand against an imperial force of over 30,000. Surrounded and outgunned, the samurai faced annihilation. Despite the hopelessness of their situation, they charged into battle with unwavering resolve. The clash was brutal and tragic, with Saigo's forces fighting to the last man. Saigo Takamori was gravely injured during the battle. According to legend, he performed seppuku, the ritual suicide of a samurai, to preserve his honor. His death marked the end of the Satsuma Rebellion and the final chapter in the history of the samurai as a dominant force in Japan. Though the rebellion failed, Saigo's legacy endured. In the years that followed, he became a symbol of integrity, courage, and loyalty to one's principles. The Meiji government, recognizing his enduring popularity, eventually pardoned him posthumously and enshrined him as a national hero. The Satsuma Rebellion was more than a military conflict. It was a poignant reminder of the cultural cost of progress. Saigo Takamori's life and the rebellion he led continue to inspire, reflecting the timeless struggle between tradition and change, and the enduring power of honor in the face of adversity. Like, share, and subscribe.